Hello and welcome to another episode of The Jaily Show Live. Ooh. This week I am at the Goat Agency with the wonderful Harry Hugo, and we've been talking off camera. And one thing
for too long, if anything.
Yeah, if anything, we've done the show and that's it. We're just going to cut there. So one of the things that Harry always gets asked is the same question. We're going to just delve straight past that. We don't care if you want to find out who he is, where he come from, what he's done. There's 7,000 different...
I feel like I'm on a podcast every evening talking about, you're 25 and you've got a 100-person business and same old shit. So hopefully we can talk about actually what it's like running this thing and where we're looking to go and what the whole industry looks like rather than necessarily just the story. But I'm happy to do a bit of the story as well.
Nah, no one cares.
Literally nobody cares. So, judging by viewing figures, nobody cares.
So I think what you touched on there is a thing to talk about. Everyone's got a story about how they started their agency, but what's interesting is obviously this has exploded over the last few years.
Yeah.
How do you tackle like the sudden growth and dealing with 10 employees, 20 employees, the rabble of people I can see walking around the office now?
Yeah, I mean it's a fucking nightmare. The whole thing changes as you grow. Like stage by stage, like the first 10 employees, like you're all in it together. It doesn't really feel like there's a founder-employee dynamic at that stage, in my experience, because you're all shooting towards one goal and everyone knows what everybody's doing at all times. Everyone knows what the priority is. Everyone knows what the total business goal is.
Sure.
Everyone's priorities are pretty much aligned to the founders, which is survive. We need to survive as a business, so we all have a job. And then once you get to about 25 to 40, that job changes slightly because it's the first time as a founder or as a business owner you have to step back a bit and let other people do the job, because there's no way you can know what 25 to 40 people are doing every day, and you certainly can't know exactly what the granularity of their priorities are. So that's the point where it starts to get a bit scary.
And it's something that I've found in all different stages of management. Like you get to a stage when you first start, you have to do everything. You have to be jack of all and know how to do it all. And then you get to a stage where you have to step back. I found that kind of sucked in places because I was like, I like doing content. I like doing this.
I'm a doer rather than a watcher.
Yeah.
So I like to do things fast. I like to do things right, and that doesn't always suit a business at this scale. It very much suits a business at less than 20 people.
Because you're small and agile.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now we've always maintained that we want to stay agile. It's very, very important for us as a growing business, as a business that's trying to disrupt the market, that we stay really, really agile to what we're trying to achieve. And we've maintained that on the whole, but there is a part of me which looks at it and goes, okay, we are 100 plus people versus where we were when we were 10 or 15, and there are differences.
Yeah.
There are processes that need to be followed, whereas before we could cut corners and get away with it. Now we can't get away with it because that's 50% of the people just don't know what's happening anymore. Whereas it was impossible for 50% of the business to not know what was happening in a room with 10 people.
Sure. Where's Billy? Billy's over there. He's doing that job. Of course, everyone knows that. Yeah.
Whereas now it's where's Billy, and Billy could be literally anywhere in the world, and I've got no idea.
So how do you stay agile? How do you stay agile with 100 people? That must be like moving turning a sail ship. Like.
Yeah, I don't really know what the answer to that is. I think a big part of it is culture. Everyone being bought into one goal. We try and align ourselves to one goal at all times. Now those goals change a lot. Our total goal is to become this new age holding group in the media world. There's 4 that really run the show at the moment. WPPs, Dentsus, Publicists, and they're all shit, and they've all been doing the same stuff. They all do the same stuff as each other, and it's effectively one has one brand over the door and the other one has another brand over the door, but they offer the same thing. We want to be a genuine alternative. Now that doesn't mean we're right for everybody right now, but if they genuinely want to change something and do something different and transform as a brand, then we're an alternative. We're an option.
Sure.
If they want to just keep on doing the same old stuff that they've been doing, then we're probably not an option, and that's fine. Some brands want to keep on doing that. Some marketers want to keep doing the things that safely keep them in a job.
Yeah, this worked amazingly in 2005. I'm still doing it.
Exactly, and that's effectively what buying TV at 80-90% of your total marketing budget is. It worked.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying it doesn't work at all now. It does. Now, if you deploy it in the right way, it's a great channel to get broad reach. But it's plain to see that 90% of the attention of the British public or the worldwide public is not on TV anymore. So the alignment between the digital and social world and how much growth that's seen over the last few years and the attention it gets and the amount of time people spend viewing content on it, completely irrelevant to the platform. There's loads of different platforms on it that people spend time on, and that's up to the marketer to work out where they deploy that.
Where they sit and what's right for the brand and their goals. Yeah.
But regardless, a lot more people are spending time there than they are on TV, yet 80 to 90% of all marketing budget gets pushed to TV. Really? And at least the creative is come up with as a TV first creative versus a social first creative, which is where people are spending their time, it's where they're voicing their opinion, and it's where two ways a brand can get feedback. They can tell the customer something and the customer can tell them something. TV, that doesn't exist. So, and hilariously, when there is a shit TV ad or a great TV ad, the only thing people do is write about it on social media.
Exactly.
So that's the place you should be doing testing. Don't do it when it costs millions of pounds and you can't hear the feedback, other than the place where you could have done it for much less.
And the thing is, there's so many of those brands that, they can't necessarily use TV because you're not B2C or, it's going to be a waste of money. And you're seeing more and more of them do fantastic jobs, market to their niche. So without spending, a quarter of the budget that you'd spend on the one TV ad.
The brands that are winning and the brands that have won over the last few years are the brands that have tried to innovate and have gone for the alternative. They've tried something different. Now that doesn't always mean it's influencer marketing, and I'm obviously a huge advocate of that. That's what the business does as a core offering. But it could just be they look at the BBC and what they did with the Dracula billboard.
So I was just thinking the same thing.
That is old media buying, but they bought one billboard and they created something great that was seen on social media by millions of people.
I had people sharing it with me from the US. Who were just
great.
Like, is this how incredible is this? And the fact that what does one billboard cost in the middle of nowhere?
Costs nothing. Who knows where it is?
Yeah, right.
And it makes 0 sense to anybody walking past it at 12 p.m. When they're going to get lunch.
Yeah, it's only done for that time lapse shot.
Exactly. And that
Brilliant.
is smart marketing, smart use of media, smart use of distribution, and great creative. And those are the things that really need to come together in 2020 and beyond, is that media and creative have been forked out by companies that want to fork them out because they just want to focus on the media and just want to focus on creative, and there's a benefit to them for that to happen. But because of the media groups, right? They want to take budget like that and put it under one roof.
Exactly.
For us, we want to do everything with both of those things in mind from the get-go, rather than a creative company coming out of, this is the best creative, and then just having to give it to a media company and go, just do what you can.
Do that good, right? Do that really good. Will do. It's like there's so many TV ads where not until you're sat at the cinema and you've arrived too early do you see the long form version of it, and you're like, oh,
that makes sense.
I get it.
Yeah.
Beforehand, it was just Johnny Depp digging a hole.
Yeah.
I didn't understand what that had to
The
do
only
with it.
time people actually really take in TV ads is Christmas. That's
Sure.
it. That's it. In the UK and in the US, it's Christmas and the Super Bowl.
Of
I know
course,
those are the time when people actually are willing to watch a 60 to 120 second ad.
But even then, the cost
is ridiculous.
is so ridiculous. It's one of those things. It's so many points in traditional marketing where you're like, radio advertising. Do you know how much you can get on social? Like, how much you can get for that budget, because it's some old way of pricing something, and you can't. It's not going to go down until the market really falls to pieces.
But there is value in all of these things.
Of course.
And we slam all these different medias as we possibly can. But at the same time, we believe that there is a massive value in the marketing mix as a whole, and that needs to be complemented in lots of different ways by lots of different types of media. And TV is still important. It still gets to an audience.
100%.
Radio is still important. It still influences an audience in a way where people are isolated from anything else, and they 9 times out of 10 aren't getting any other media into them at the same time as they're listening to the radio. So
that's a good point. It's not like when I'm watching a YouTube and listening to a different podcast.
Exactly. It's just not the same. So that's quite an interesting method. The cinema is really good because people are there and they're doing nothing else and they can't do anything else. And 95% of cinemas in the UK, you can't get phone signal in the room. So,
fair point.
So actually, in terms of attention, underpriced attention, that is really, really good. And it's and it's not actually that expensive.
No.
Billboards, we're seeing great examples for like the Dracula one.
If they're used right.
Exactly. So like we're not against old media. We're just saying let's think about the fact that old media can be used in different ways now, and the split of all these different media channels just needs to come into the now rather than live 15 years ago.
Exactly, because otherwise you end up with that car advert. You end up with the car advert that doesn't make any sense when I saw the 30-second snippet on social, the thing I saw the most of, and then not until 6 months later when I go and see the new movie, I'm like, oh, I get it, and now it makes sense to me. Whereas if that had been created, excuse me, that had been created originally with the idea of like, we need a 30-second that's going to make sense because that's what's going to be pushed out. By the time people see the long form, they're going to be rewarded. They're going to see the whole long form. They're going to appreciate that even more, as opposed to being like, oh, okay, so I've been duped every time I watch this to what looks like an editor being like, 30 seconds, there you go.
And what's the thing people remember most about TV ads now? It's the music.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, I can associate music to an ad more than I can associate the video to an ad.
Yeah.
Whereas on social, the audio is relatively irrelevant.
Yeah.
And the video and the content is far more important, which is a really interesting dynamic as well. So we're looking at all these different things. We're looking at what I find so interesting about the whole social media explosion is the fact that it's far more about human psychology and sociology.
Yeah.
Rather than just blasting things out like advertising got to in the early 2000s. Now it's actually about, okay, well, how are people going to react to this? Because they can react.
Sure.
It's not just a one-way thing. We don't just have to think about getting to them. We now have to think about what they think when they see it, because they're gonna tell people immediately, and we're gonna look like idiots if we put out this £1 million ad and we get one engagement, because that's what people think about it. Whereas before, you could put a £1 million ad out before, and it didn't matter because you could just guess if people liked it.
Sure.
Whereas now we know.
Well, when you have 4 channels and however many radio stations, we know if we dump it all across there, we'd definitely get in front of everybody. Whereas now, and it's amazing how many people I speak to who just don't watch terrestrial TV at all anymore.
Yeah, unless it's live sport, I won't watch it.
Yeah, and even then, hopefully Amazon have bought it and you'll have half the battles won, right?
Exactly.
So what's the? I've been a fan of the vlog all last year. It's great, so well put together. I was speaking to Tom earlier, and he must have a hell of a job.
Yeah, the whole team are great. It's been a roller coaster really, because the vlog. You know, we've seen other people do it. We're not professing to be the first guys who've ever done it. I think we're the first guys who've done it as a company rather than a person,
right?
And try to bring multiple characters into the mix rather than just a singular character, which I think can get tired much faster. Whereas we can lean on other people for episodes rather than just have to bang the same drum, which is quite interesting. We lean probably more towards the entertainment side of things because we're a fun brand. Like we're having a laugh. But we know what we're doing, and there's a reason we've grown a business to 100 plus people, and we do know what we're talking about when it comes to social media.
But it's almost like a finite, as a tipping point where you see people get from corporate.
Yeah.
Okay, actually good at this enough. We've got out that survival stage where we can be like, cool, you don't need to wear shirts. Like it's okay. We can just be ourselves now and post this out in a way that makes sense. And the content can become more you and more fun. And the really annoying thing is that's when it tends to actually start getting engagement.
Yes. Yeah, and we've seen that. Like the first 6 months for us was pure trial. We've invested a lot of money into making this happen. And it has genuinely been a lot of fun and really rewarding in terms of the content that we've managed to bank and look at as a kind of video diary for us.
Yeah.
It's amazing for us to be able to look at certain episodes and go, oh, that was the day that we did that. Or
Can you remember that?
Yeah, it's cool. So, on a journey when the journey is escalating and accelerating so quickly, those little moments that you can capture for eternity is really quite special.
I always kick myself that we weren't, and we're capturing and releasing a small percentage in comparison to the amount of content you're pumping out at the moment. And I kick myself so much that we weren't doing it
back in the day. Yeah,
when we were in the shed, when we were in the move to the first office.
I'm with you. I've said to the team the other day, they asked me what the biggest regret is about the vlog, and I obviously said the cliche, which is we wish we'd started earlier, but I don't wish we had a videographer with us all the time like that. That would have just been a stupid business decision.
Yeah.
We'd have spent 90% of our incomings on a fucking video team. That would be stupid. However, I do regret not making more moments myself.
Yeah.
And just capturing, even if it was a weekly update, just go, this is what I did, this is what, because that's free. And not to necessarily put it out. I don't regret not putting things out earlier. I just regret not having the footage, not having the memory of something. And I wish I could look back and we could cut back to moments when we reference things, during the day. On the vlog,
that'd be great.
And go, look what we did in 2016.
Yeah, look at that. Look how young I look.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Here's me with brown hair.
Each year.
Because the vlog's never seen me with brown hair, and for me, like I've only ever had this haircut. I've had it for a year and 2 months, and like the people now only know me for having blonde hair, and I'm like, this is not me. I looked in the mirror 18 months ago and went, I've had the same haircut since I was 12. I need to change this, and I just had to bleach my hair within 24 hours.
And that randomly coincided with Let's Do Content?
Yes. Yes,
Sure
honestly, yes.
Sure it did. That's it. I look great. Let's kick off the content.
The other thing you have to think about when you're doing content every day and you've got a cameraman running up to you and going, oh, what do you want to, is you can't wear tracksuit bottoms anymore. Which for the year preceding the vlog, I was sort of 40% of the time. If I didn't have a meeting, that was it, tracksuit bottoms that day. And now I come in with tracksuit bottoms like... Aaron said to me the other day, oh, you've really started to let the side down on the vlog. I've seen you wear tracksuit bottoms a few times. I said, I've worn it 3 times in a year and a half. Like, I'm very conscious when I put them on. And it's only when I'm in for half a day and I know I've not got anything, I'm just picking stuff up. And doing it. So, give a man a break. Also, this is real life.
Yeah, this is actually who we are.
Yeah.
We have a strict jogging bottom policy.
Yeah.
Strict.
Yeah.
Only
5 days a week.
5 days a week, and if someone's coming to the office and we really have to, keep a shirt in your desk.
Yeah.
And then newsreader it. Don't leave your desk.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot.
If I have to throw on jeans, that's about as smart as I get. I remember I used to work in IT for so long, and suited and booted 3-piece suits. I just never get it. I'm on the phones for.
Yeah, what's the matter?
4 days of the week. Why are we sat here? Why did I press a shirt this morning? I hate that. I hate doing it for weddings. Like, why am I doing it daily? Don't you find, and that's obviously part of the culture we were talking about earlier, just doing things like that, setting things like that up is why it becomes a nice place to work. No one's breathing down my neck and being like,
Yeah, except from the cameraman.
Of course, yeah. It's gone the other way.
Yeah, it literally has.
Where only you're told off for jogging bottoms.
Yeah, exactly. It certainly helps shape culture. It helps shape global culture for us. We luckily launched the vlog at the same time as, or around the same time as launching our Singapore office.
Okay.
And that's an office that, time zone wise is very disconnected from the rest of the offices we have around the world.
Yeah, I hate working that way.
Yeah, it's very difficult.
It becomes such a hard. We've got a few clients in Australia, and it's just hard. We're always behind.
Yeah.
Whereas anyone in the US, we're always ahead, kind of thing.
Yeah, so it's tricky. And as a young founder and someone who's only done this once, that's quite a difficult thing to manage, especially when we've got New York as well. I've gone from having an 8 to 10 hour working day to then having a 14 to 15 hour working day because New York adds to the end. Now I've literally got 24 hour working day. I'm never in a situation at any point around the world when someone's not in a Go office texting me something.
That's cool.
It's shit. It's exciting and cool, don't get me wrong, but it's shit.
Sorry, it's exciting in this chair.
Yeah, no, it is exciting. I'm very grateful for the situation we're in, and I'm very excited by the prospect of it. But mentally, it's like this bubble around your head constantly because you can constantly have these things just popping around you, which is tough, right?
Everything's got a bit as desperate a priority as the other thing.
Exactly, because to not prioritize Singapore things or New York things over London, it's a global business, so they're all the same.
Yes.
Despite one being at 4 a.m.
Sure, the problem that's sent to you at 4 a.m. is just as important as the thing you walk into at 8 a.m. Sure.
So that's difficult. That's really tough.
How do you manage it? How do you take time off? Like, what do you do to switch off? So
when I worked for Aaron, 5.5 years ago, I was a lot worse at that. When I work for someone else, I'm not a perfectionist, but I'm a really hard worker.
Right.
And I made myself really ill by the amount of work I did and the amount of time. Not that ill, but like exhaustion and just the overworking.
That's what I mean. There's
I
a
was
point.
18, so like I was just working too hard. I didn't know my own limits because I had the adrenaline. I was excited. Like I was doing.
Yeah.
I had the most ridiculous job. I was 18. I had £1 million budgets. We were the coolest sports company in the UK. Everyone wanted to invite me to anything because I was like me and Nick were the face of that business.
Sure.
So if we had courtside seats to the NBA, I'd be invited to courtside seats to the NBA. I was like, oh, that's great. I went to every England game for 2 years in a,
Wow.
in a different box around Wembley. So I had the most ridiculous lifestyle that was given to me because of this company. But because of that, I felt a sense of gratitude that I had to give back and a ridiculous amount of work.
Put the hours in to justify
I was so lucky.
Yeah.
I was 18. I didn't deserve what I'd stumbled upon, and
Yeah.
you know, we were very forward thinking in terms of what we were trying to achieve, and that put us in that position, and we had a great team. And looking at that team then in 2012 2014 and what those human beings have gone on to achieve in their own right, you know, we got up to 70 people in 2 years of that business. Wow. And if I look at that, you know, the individuals and what they've done, you know, you've got the most successful female women's football agent in the UK who represents 70% of the England team. She came.
Wow.
She was line managed by me and Nick, and we have some. Yeah, we just have some. We have about 3 or 4 people work here off the back of that business. So it was just a ridiculous time. I worked so hard to the point of exhaustion, where I was very, very ill. Wake up, throw up, go to work, come home, throw up, go to bed. Like that was my life. Just because I was working too hard.
And I like a healthy dose of imposter syndrome. I think it's great because it really makes you make sure you dot all the I's and cross all the T's and work that hard, but it's how to stop that.
Yeah, I know. I didn't feel like I didn't deserve it. I just felt very lucky that I was in that situation, and therefore I need to give everything to it. And then once it became my own boss, and to be clear, I founded a business when I was 16. I grew that business to have 500 people around the world freelancing into that business very, very fast. So I got the idea of working for myself and having that responsibility.
Yeah, but I know what you mean. When you're working for someone that you respect and they've given you the opportunity, you can kind of dig a little deeper and do that extra bit and not necessarily take yourself into account.
And also I have I like having control of my own destiny.
Yeah.
And when I didn't have that control, when it was someone else's problem, I did everything I possibly could to the point where it could at least kind of be in my control.
Got it.
Whereas now it is in my control, so I can do as little or as much as I want because I know I'm going to feel the consequence, not someone else. And so I had a real problem with that. But yeah, I'm pretty good at taking time off. I don't do it a lot, but I love playing golf. So in the summer I'll play a lot of golf. But I always say on every podcast, like the 2 things that changed my life, very grandiose.
No, I like it.
It changed my my mental attitude towards work, golf and driving.
Driving?
Yeah, I just love it. Not fast, not excitingly, just driving just in a car. Your own space, basically. The 2 things that no one fucking talks to you. And you're not allowed no one talks to you and you're not allowed to use your phone.
So that is a wonderful
Those 2
point,
things,
actually.
right? And then other than swimming, there's very few other things where that is the case.
Someone's going to come talk to you in the gym.
Now you can get signal on a plane. Like all these things, they just kill. Because I used to absolutely love flying, I still do. But there's that temptation of, just log into the Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
You log into the Wi-Fi and there's so many notifications popping. I wish I'd never done that.
And then it ends up being like, great, I've got 8 hours where I can work.
Yeah,
and it's not a good 8 hours for you.
Whereas
like,
driving, you can't do that. So I love that, and I love playing golf. And I like beating Aaron on a golf course.
Of course. I'm always amazed with driving about how much like I solve in my problems.
Oh,
or
really?
Finish a drive.
See, I want to think about nothing. I reckon I should be. If people looked at my brain and the activity in my brain whilst I was driving, I reckon they'd ban me from driving. The tiny amount of my attention is actually going on in driving. Like, I just completely zone out.
But and me too. I've only been driving for about 5 years. So I still
wow,
kind of
newbie.
I know.
Welcome.
Still think, thanks. It's kind of nice to be on the roads. No one can drive. I don't know if you know that.
I didn't know you were 23.
But
Are you still driving like a Fiat 500?
I'm still 10. Yeah, exactly. Still driving 10, and I'm very 10 and 2. But I'm the same. So I concentrate on driving. I'm just not really thinking of anything else. Like I like a good sing song in the car.
Yeah.
But just that kind of your mind
What would
being
be the
taken
what would be the
away.
song of choice? What's the I was about to say what's the cassette you're going to put in? But we're 2020. What MP3 are you going to play? What streaming service are you using?
At the moment, it's all sing along for me.
Go on, don't embarrass yourself.
I'm going to embarrass myself. You can't stop me. No one's ever stopped me.
No good.
So this morning was a lot of Whitney Houston.
Right, your
And it
power
was good.
ballads.
Oh, big time, yeah.
Okay, nice.
And anything that makes you want to take my hands off the car and start dancing, basically.
That's dangerous.
I know. But keeps my mind right.
Okay, nice. So sort of the Glee cast is what I'm thinking.
Of course.
Yeah, nice.
Just don't stop believing on repeat.
Yeah, exactly.
That, and also I'm one of the few gluttons in the world who loves his own album.
Okay, nice.
And will put that on. It's exactly the kind of music
You know the
I always
you know
wanted
the
to hear.
words.
I do know the words, and I can sing it better now because someone else has done it and tuned it, and I learned what I meant to sing. So, okay, golf to switch off. I think that's crazy. Golf, nothing that stresses me out more than golf.
Yeah, I like when you're saying about you like solving problems driving, like I love the problem solving element of golf, where you are 0% of the time in the same situation as you were last time you hit that shot, and I like the fact that I have to work out what I have to do I'm a problem solver. I'm a logic, very logical golf.
For me, that's climbing.
And
Any
lots of
indoor
people are saying
climbing.
that. Like I've probably done 5 or 6 podcasts out of the 30 or 40 I've done where someone said that and all in the last 18 months. No one before that.
Well, they're all the route you do. So when you see it and it's just a whole mess of colours, you follow one colour and that's the route. They're called problems. They're called problems.
Yeah, I want to do it. I just don't want to invest the time into going. But I want to. If someone could set up a climbing wall in my house, I do it all the time.
I've seen it. I've seen people
That's
have it
great.
just up the stairs and stuff.
Yeah, perfect. That's perfect.
Where you're just bouldering. Well, there's one in our end of the world, which is best in Europe, a place called White Spider.
Okay, nice.
It's a lovely day out. It is a really nice day out.
I'm interested.
And the thing I like about stuff like that, like golf or anything that you're kind of focusing on, is it just takes your mind away from dealing with the myriad
Because
of
you've got
problems.
another problem to solve.
You have to.
That is more immediately important.
Yeah.
Like-
Getting that beating Aaron.
Yes, that is the only problem. It's a single goal when I tee off on the first to coming down the 18th. It's a single goal. Have I beaten him?
Laser focus.
Exactly.
So what's new with the vlog? You've been doing it for a long time. I'm sure you've learned a lot of things you do and don't want to do. What's the plans for it coming up?
It's a continual development phase, right? Where we some days love it, some days hate it. Some days think that like we should stop this immediately. Some days like, oh, why don't we make 6 of those videos? So it's a learning curve for a constant evolution. And I think the hardest thing has been the fact we're not actors, we're not performers, we're not that charismatic as a pair. Like we're just normal blokes. And we've had to learn to constantly be high energy and work out what it looks good on camera and what doesn't, because every single day, you know, that could quickly decrease in energy. So that's been important. In terms of what we're trying to do next, look, we want to be the guys in the UK. We know and we appreciate that Gary Vee is the guy.
Sure.
And he's the guy in the US. There's a lot of people that hate him in the UK.
Yep.
Just because they don't get on with his voice, his accent, his
Overly positiveness.
his Americanisms.
He's very American, isn't
Right, and I like Gary. I like what he stands for. I like the content he creates. I'm very impressed and I'm very inspired by what he's done, and I like the fact he's a first mover in the space. But I think we can be bigger than him in the UK. Mm-hmm. And then I want to launch, when we are at a size which allows it, I want to launch a version of our vlog across every single market that we have an office. And so every office has one, because there's no reason why we shouldn't, right?
Sure. I suppose, yeah, and you're missing a trick by Singapore. And
Well, it allows us to release at 3 different times a day,
Sure.
which is like the perfect recipe, right?
Really don't like sleeping, huh?
Well, I don't have to do it.
That's true.
No, Tom edits it all.
So Tom,
He's got
Tom
three
doesn't like
to do it.
sleeping.
I look forward to him watching this and go, what? Sorry? So yeah, like I think we'll fly Matt around. He'd just commute from one to another.
Right, I've got to get that video. Get on a plane.
But no, like, I think we want to keep innovating. We want to keep doing things differently. We're playing around with different formats. Like the guys before I walked in here, it's like, oh, we've got 2 new formats to show you, like things we think are cool. We want to bring more characters. Like we have new people start here all the time, and we had this discussion in the first week back in January. It's like, okay, we've got loads of new starters. Who's the next star?
Nice.
Sam Fowler's a star of the vlog. We know people love him. He's the kind of grumpy, I don't know, grumpy uncle. Like that's the kind of character he is. And then you've got May, who's like super positive, super energetic, always happy, always excited, and you know, really positive energy. You have all sorts of these different characters. You have Matt as a character behind the camera who's fantastic and keeps the whole thing going. It's quite funny. And we want to build more characters so people can see themselves in the vlog in different ways, different characteristics. So that's quite important for us.
It's an interesting thing. I was talking about it on one of our previous shows, how that wasn't what companies did 5-10 years ago. Like there is only one Zuckerberg. Like there isn't the other people in Facebook who are. I know there are, and
other than Sheryl Sandberg, I couldn't name you another major Facebook employee except for Nick Clegg, who's a fantastic employee.
Is he an employee?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
He got a ridiculous job 2 years after he got kicked out of Parliament.
Really?
He's the global head of political affairs at Facebook.
And wow.
The job is ridiculous, and I can't believe. I want to see the shortlist. He won. What was the shortlist? He's crap. We all know he's crap. They obviously just got. He was co-prime minister.
That's good enough.
Yeah.
Is that like a president?
Yeah, kind of.
But it's amazing to me that more businesses don't do it, and especially we have the problem of we've got 10 people in the business. We don't have the resources necessarily for everyone to be doing it. But even then, we're trying to not make it just the Jay show constantly of one person going out there.
What's the show called?
The Jaylee Show.
Thought so.
I know. It's finger linked in good. Finger linked in good. There you go. But that's our plan for this year is to now this works with one. How can we do it with others? And it makes so much sense. It makes you look and prove that you're bigger than everyone else. It's not just one guy going, there's loads of us here today, because you can see it and see different personalities. Yeah. But if I don't like the one person who's on the show all day, good, because there's loads of other personalities and characters that I can get involved in.
I think we're the only vlog or video series which is happy for an episode to go out when me or Aaron or Nick are not on it that day, and we still think it's a good product.
Yeah,
that is very, very rare. Yeah. And that is a credit, one, to the video team who do a great job in building a story and a narrative and an insight every single day, and
so quickly as well.
Yeah, unbelievably quickly. And two, to the people in the business who bought into it to the point where they're like, okay, well, this is actually an opportunity for me. Now we were opening ourselves up because people can go and hire our people because they know who's good and who's not, and who know who they want as a culture fit. But it is what it is.
That's always going to be the case.
Exactly.
I think too many businesses actually shy away from helping build their employees' personal brand because we're going to invest all of this time and effort into them, and then they're going to leave and go and be the next superstar elsewhere.
Yeah.
But treat your people well; they won't leave. Help them build that brand, and then you've got multiple brands within your business. It just surprises me that you guys are doing it, and I can see you doing it. And like you said, they're great videos with or without you, and that's very powerful. It's not like
better with me,
of course. Yeah,
better with me.
It's not like it's not like we're watching the B team video now.
Yeah.
Like everyone's kind of the A team.
That's a reality. But
sure.
No. They honestly, I enjoy them more as a viewer when I'm not in it.
Yeah.
I genuinely like it as a catch up. I genuinely like it as...
That's what we're doing yesterday.
Yeah, genuinely. The best time I ever watched it was when I was on holiday. Because it's I can just see what people are up to and what's important, what's being prioritized, what's being talked about, what's the theme. All these things are really interesting. And yeah, the whole process of it is fascinating. I'm not a production guy. Never built videos in my life.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a journalist, so I'm good at writing things. But when it came to video, I've never done it before. I had no idea what camera equipment we needed or anything. We literally just bought everything. And then went, is this enough? We bought 10 grand worth of camera equipment. We hired everybody on the Friday and we started on the Monday.
No. Wow.
We said we're going to do it. Me and Aaron sat in our office Thursday afternoon and said, I think we should do this, We've been talking about it for 2 years. I reckon we should do this. And then I said, and then the whole thing, the reason we hadn't done it for 2 years, despite talking about it, was we didn't have a USP against a Gary V.
Okay.
And then we started thinking about it, going, well, no one else is a 3-founder team that are doing it.
Nice.
So there's a dynamic there that no one else has had. No one's doing it as a company, showing other personalities rather than just themselves. And no one is showing the same day across multiple time zones. So at the start, we would fly around the world. We'd show London, we show Singapore, and we show New York all in one day.
Wow.
And we still do sometimes when there's interesting stuff going on around the world. But that was the reason, that was the catalyst for us to go, okay, we should do this. That was Thursday afternoon. I spent the evening getting as many people in for interviews as I possibly could on the Friday. Then it was 2 p.m. Friday. We'd hired our editor, not Tom. Tom came in about 3 weeks later, but we hired our editor. And then my girlfriend texts me saying, I know you're looking for a videographer. I'm currently with one. And my girlfriend she's big on TikTok. And she does like body art.
Right.
She draws on people's backs and things, like amazing art. It's amazing. God knows how she does it. But she said, I'm actually with a videographer now. I'm doing some body art on him. I was like, okay, well, ask him if he's interested. Tell him a bit about what the company, and if he wants an interview, I'm available until 4. And she said, yeah, no, he is. I'll send him the address and he can come up and meet at 4. We met Matt at 4 and we hired him at 4:25 and he started Monday. We gave him 10 grand worth of camera equipment and said, we need a vlog tomorrow. And we need to post it tomorrow night.
Wow.
And that's it. We haven't
quickly.
dropped a day since. 245 days in a row since that Tuesday.
I love it. Like you say, doer. Not necessarily
Yeah,
sitting
yeah.
and doing 6 months of planning.
And our first episode is toilet. It is really toilet. But it's fun, and we look back on that. The product then versus the product now is like, it's unrecognizable what the difference is. Just as like Matt doesn't talk, it's far more cinematic, and ours is far more sort of run and gun now.
Yeah.
These are all terms that I've learned over the last 2 years.
Yeah, I know. I've heard people say those terms as well.
I've got no idea what they mean. But yeah, we're quick and dirty.
Yeah.
We're not gonna take you out for a nice date.
But and that's something I had a lot of trouble with, is actually changing to quick and dirty, because I know you wouldn't think that looking at me, but for a lot of time, Simon, who stood over there, I'm sure he'll agree, I'd be like, not good enough. What about that? There's a little thing there, micromanaging the bits because we hadn't produced much content, and the more we produced, and the more he tells me like it's done.
So
the
secret, the honest secret to our video success over the last year is the fact it's daily, and I genuinely don't care what yesterday's episode is like now. I've forgotten about it.
Yeah.
All I care about is today's episode.
Yeah.
And if you release weekly, you care about the last episode you release for 7 days.
Okay.
Which mentally is a lot more exhausting than 24 hours.
Oh, I'm living it.
You pick it apart. You watch it 3 or 4 times. You watch it different days. Lots of people talk to you about it over the course of 7 days. No one will talk to me about yesterday's episode on Sunday. Nobody.
Of course not.
They'll talk about Friday. They'll talk about Sunday's episode.
Sure.
Or Thursday's episode. They will never talk to me about yesterday's episode. So that is mentally so much better.
And almost a self-fulfilling prophecy, because it has to be so quick, it then becomes...
It is what it is.
It's got momentum to it, and it is what it is. Yeah, exactly. And
we forget about it. And if we have a shit day and it's awful, then so be it.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, we know we've got to learn this is what it's got to be.
This one's a bit shorter than yesterday, but just get it out and we'll carry on.
Yeah, and we'd rather post a vlog than not post one.
Yeah.
We'd rather post a bad one than not post one at all.
I love that. Wow, I didn't know that you decided to do and jump so head in to then keep that discipline of it happening every day.
The only way we'd have kept doing it is if it were daily. If it was weekly or twice a week, 3 times a week, we wouldn't have the discipline to do it, because we'd have gone, well, we're not really fancying it today. Like,
yeah, and
we'll
then
shoot tomorrow.
Thursday, actually I'm quite busy Thursday, can move to Friday, we'll do one Monday. And then it slips out and isn't a thing anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And it wouldn't have made other people in the business as involved, because we would be picking and choosing what days, so we wouldn't be filming all the time.
Sure. As opposed to having someone walk into your office and you're like, oh, it's happening now, is
Yeah,
it?
yeah,
Okay, hit me.
We've got a 3 fuck off rule.
Okay.
Which is if the cameraman comes in and we tell him to fuck off, he stays in, until we tell them to fuck off 3 times.
Okay.
And that's when we're talking about something that can't be on the camera.
This is it. I can't be on the camera, or I'm stressed to hell, and I just don't need this
exactly.
right now.
But some of the best content is after one fuck off. But I'm annoyed, or I'm dealing with something, and I'm genuinely like, oh, just go away, mate. And then he stays there and he films like the realness of a situation where I don't want to be filmed, but that is interesting in itself.
Yeah.
And then 20 seconds later is 2 more and he's out.
But he's got that 20 seconds.
But he's got something where it's like, okay, we can build a narrative around the fact of, okay, what's going on in the business today that's making Harry stressed or Aaron stressed or whatever it is. It's interesting. Our best episode, the episode I'm most proud of, is not most proud of, but one of them is our 9-minute reaction to losing a 250k pitch. And it's literally just us, me and Aaron, just talking for 9.5 minutes, trying to G ourselves up, going, it's going to be all right.
So it is the debrief of why it didn't go well.
or just us reflecting and trying to pick each other up.
We should have done that. Wish we'd had. That would have been great.
Yeah. Maybe it is better we didn't win it.
But you have to get into that kind of daily and constant content capturing to be able to capture good moments, because otherwise you're like, it's not Thursday, and also I just lost a pitch. I don't need this right now. Get the camera out of my face.
Yep.
Although I do like the 3 fuck off rule. That's pretty powerful.
It's good.
Right. So before we wrap up, I hear you know some stuff about influence marketing.
Yes.
How
supposedly.
That's what your LinkedIn profile says anyway.
That's what the Guardian said yesterday.
Okay, LinkedIn and Guardian. So if that's the case, influencer marketing globally, how do you traverse that? Obviously, it's going to be different in the US than it is the UK.
Yeah.
Different in Singapore than it is the UK.
Yeah, and that's been pretty eye-opening, to be honest. So if you think of influencer marketing at year 0, if you're in London, like pretty good understanding. Most brands are in it now.
Yep.
They're investing in it. Not investing huge amounts of money, but they're investing decent, sizable chunks. Maybe 5% of their total marketing budget.
Sure.
New York or the US is like plus 2.5 years onto the timeline. So they're investing sizable amounts of money.
Right.
They know it's the answer. They're seeing the ROI, and they've been seeing the ROI for a couple of years. And in Singapore and Asia, outside of China, are like minus 2.5 years.
Right.
And we're still in the education phase of, this is good. The rest of the world's doing it.
Trust me.
Trust me. It's gonna be, exactly. It's going really well. Despite the world knowing this is getting there, and this is it, this is what the new wave of media looks like, the understanding levels in different parts of the world, or the commitment of budget from different areas of the world, are completely different.
And is that because you're educating the market in one place and the market's desperate to work with you in the other?
Yeah, so London, people are desperate to work with us, but they're not, they're in the kind of just about to jump into the big contract. In the US, they've been in a big contract, and we're trying to convince them that we deserve that big contract, not the other people.
Okay.
And in Singapore, we're like, just give us a go.
It's like, really good.
Yeah, it's good, and let's work towards having a big contract.
Yeah.
Whereas, London is, let's get this big contract sorted.
Sure.
US is, get rid of them. They're rubbish. we should be the guys that do this.
Must be so hard, because you open a new office and all of a sudden you've got to learn that.
And you don't know what that looks like until you're there.
Yeah. I love the just doing it thing. It's great.
Yeah, I mean, it's the only way you can actually grow.
Yeah.
And the whole first 4 years was about grow.
So what's the next 4 years look like? Grow.
Golf. No. Growth is important for us, but consolidating what we have, expanding our services, making ourselves transitioning from the influencer guys, which is what people know us as, to the social guys.
Right.
Because we believe that influence is just a core component of social media, and social media is...
Sure, if you've got a great influencer, but the actual marketing team aren't doing the job right, then...
Yeah, so we need to do it all.
Yeah.
We'll have it all, thanks very much.
Genius.
And that means that we have to be better at content creation and creative and strategy, and all things that we're getting asked by clients to do more and more, because we're showing all of those things in our influencer offering.
Yeah.
But never really have shown it for a social offering, despite them being basically the same thing.
Intrinsically linked, but not
So
necessarily.
more and more brands are working with us on a social capacity. So now we just need to transition that brand away from being just the influencer guys to being the social guys. So that's the next year, and then it's like, I don't know, world domination. That's
Sure. Yeah, year 2. First sort the thing out, and then
get the brand right, and then let's dominate the world.
And then the
But
same thing.
we want to be a genuine competitor. I said it earlier. We want to be a genuine competitor to all the big guys out there, and an alternative for brands to look at and go, okay, well, we want to change things. We want to digitally transform. We want to do something actually different. Okay, well, who are the people that could actually offer us that, and we can see that as an opportunity?
Yeah.
The guys that go. Perfect.
And what better place to end it there. So thank you very much for coming on the JD Show live.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate
I
it.
thoroughly enjoyed it.
Guys, follow the GOAT. It's just follow GOAT. There we go. I said it. I messed up.
No, it's cool.
I worked out exactly what I wasn't going to say.
Search will pick it up.
Yeah, indeedy. Follow the guys. The vlog's amazing. It's a great place to see content. Harry releases some good stuff too. So follow them as well. And we'll catch you on the next episode of JD Show Live.